Hi, everybody. Jack O'Malley with this week's update. What's going on in Lansing? And if maybe this is the first time you've watched this or heard about it, what I try to do, it all started in COVID, where I was every day I did an update to explain what was going on, trying to answer questions and that sort of thing. And I still try to do that. My office is very responsive. We've helped 1,000 or so people with unemployment claims and that sort of thing. So again, if you need to contact the office, if you're a constituent, repomalley.com. Go there, and I've got the email, the address, the phone numbers, and things like that. So please reach out, and we'll try and answer your questions if you have them. But this particular little thing, now I used to do it every night, then 5 nights a week, then 3 nights a week, then a couple times a week. Now I'm down to once a week. And I just try to update you on the bills and the discussion that are happening here in Lansing. And as I always say, you can agree or disagree with me. I'm just telling you how I see it and what's going on, right? And you can make your decisions. I appreciate the comments where I don't always agree with you, but I appreciate you telling us what's happening. And that's what I'm trying to do, trying to be open and transparent. And I'm going to talk about what has appeared to become a very controversial bill here in just a minute. So stay tuned for that. Now I got your curiosity piqued. Yesterday, we've talked about tax cuts. The governor brought it up in her State of the State. And yesterday, the Senate passed out kind of a whopping idea of tax cuts. It would be over $2 billion in tax cuts. And first blush, I think they may have gone a little too far, or maybe not far enough in certain areas. And again, that's how the process works. The Senate has their plan, then we discuss it, and then they come together, and then we got to get the governor to agree to it. So these are still early discussions. Again, I'm not necessarily opposed to the Senate plan. I just don't think it's necessarily the right lineup of things. What they have done is they would drop the state's income tax from 4.25% to 3.9%, which I'm not necessarily opposed to. All right. They also have a rather large corporate tax cut, which, again, I don't know. I think we need to be focused on getting income tax back in the pockets of citizens and small business. That's where I'm focused at. So just so you know, if you see those things in the news about the Senate and the tax cut, those discussions are just being had. I think the Senate rushed it a little bit, in my opinion, but don't worry, the House will fix it. And we'll move forward. So again, not opposed to it in general. Obviously, I'm for tax cuts, but maybe in a little different angle. So that's just starting to discuss and be discussed. So just a heads up on that. This I thought was kind of funny. The Mears News Agency, which is kind of a Lansing inside type news agency, had a story that I thought was interesting. If you remember last week on this update, I mentioned that there were 16 ballot proposals that are going to try and make it onto the ballot. Odds are they all won't get there, but there's 16 of them out there, and some of them are competing. For example, Michigan's Right to Vote and the Protect the Vote 2022 conflict. They're opposites. So Mears asked, what happens if both of them get on the ballot? Right? They're both there. They got enough signatures. They qualify. And now these two opposing things are there. And let's say they both win, if you will. They both win. Yeah. Majority of people said, yes, we like that. And yes, we like that. We've got two opposite bills, two opposite constitutional amendments sitting there. What do? Our state constitution weighs in. It says the one that gets the most votes wins, and the other loses. Interesting. So just a FYI, as that discussion bubbles up, we've got the Constitution says we got it figured out. Don't worry. Let's see here. Today, I'm recording this at about 12:20. We go into session at 1:30, and on the agenda today is the Pharmacy Benefit Manager bill that I've talked about a year ago and then last week. So it came over from the Senate, and we are going to vote on it today. I will be voting in favor of this bill, but one of the things that's important is we sent a multi-package set of bills over to the Senate with regard to pharmacies and health care and that sort of thing. This bill is important, but there are a couple other trailer bills that also need to come over and get voted on. So today when we vote this out, and I'm confident it will get voted out, it will be a big, big deal for moving forward in helping our pharmaceutical costs in the state of Michigan. But we need these other bills to come with it. So keep talking to your senator and let them know we need those bills to keep coming. I got to say that Kurt Vanderwall, who's the chair of the Health Policy Committee in the Senate, has been working on these. I know he's had a bazillion meetings. They've done a good job, and I appreciate their efforts, but we need those other ones to come through too, okay? Cool. All right, this is a bill I want to talk to you about. I think this bill is a teachable moment for people. It is, oh gosh, do I know the number here? House Bill 5722. This bill basically says, and I'll explain more and give you my thoughts, but basically this says that schools would need to post their curriculums online at the beginning of each year, both the district and the school and the teachers. Well, this has created quite an uproar. I'll get to that in just a minute. So much of an uproar that I just finished taping a interview with Mark Chalette of TV 7 and 4, because he's like, well, we're getting calls. People are saying how terrible this is. So this bill basically says, and he asked me, what is the purpose of House Bill 5722? Now, I'm a co-sponsor. I am not the sponsor of the bill, but I signed it. And I said, the goal of 5722 is to give parents transparency as to what's going on with regard to their child's education and what's being taught. Now, I also said, with that said, it is a parent's responsibility to be involved in their child's education. Right now, the state says that a parent can go and look at the curriculum that their school is teaching. They can investigate and inspect the materials, read the books, that sort of thing. And they can also sit and monitor a class that their kid is in. So they can go sit in the classroom and watch with prearrangement of the principal and all that good stuff. So you can do that, but that's hard to do. So this bill's intent, hear me out here, intent is to say, look, we need to have that posted so parents who are busy or juggling things can see what junior is going to get taught. Now, immediately there was the, well, you can't, what happens if a teacher changes their mind and wants to show a kid, they want to talk about some current event or something like that? Do we have to we don't know what's, in September, we don't know what's going to happen in February. The intent of the bill is not to handcuff the teachers that way. The intent of the bill, talking to the sponsor, is to say, like a college syllabus, you have the district curriculum that's posted, then the teachers would say, hey, I'm Mr. Smith, Mr. O'Malley, let's just be honest, Mr. O'Malley, and this is, I teach in, fifth grade, whatever, here's what I'm going to teach this year. This is my syllabus. Oh, okay. So, are there some problems with this bill? After committee yesterday, I'm hearing both sides. I spoke with a conservative group who has problems with this bill, and I spoke with what you would call a liberal group that has problems with this bill. And so I'm like, okay, and I'm on education, right? I'm like, okay, we've got some work to do. So in committee, after hearing some of the discussion from my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, I said to the sponsor, I said, all right, I'm hearing this. Are you willing to continue discussions and work on this bill? And he said, yes. So here's the thing that I think is very important. When a bill gets introduced, like this one was, and there is a committee hearing, that begins the process. Then now the chair can decide never to bring this up for a vote, or the chair could decide to bring it up for a vote. The sponsor can say, hey, I'm working on this bill. There's more discussions to need to be done. So it's important to pay attention to what bills are in front of a committee, but listen and understand that this is, when we talk about the legislature being a deliberative process, this bill is a classic example. I think it's a good idea. Some people now in the discussion have brought out some flaws or weaknesses in this bill that I agree with, right? I'm not the sponsor, but I'm a co-sponsor, so I don't have complete sway on this bill. But it's like, okay, that makes sense. Let's fix that. I'm going to talk to the sponsor. Can we fix that? Right? Are you okay with that? Can we make those changes? That's how the process works. So my point, I guess, is if you have a problem with this bill or any bill, your first response should not be, hey, you flaming jerk, why are you doing this? You are going to ruin the world. Maybe that email or that phone call to the office should be, hey, I got problems with bill such and such, and here's what they are. You know what I mean? Mark Gillette said it perfectly. The problem with it is everybody starts at a 9 these days, and the only place to go is a 10. So I think when I was talking to that conservative group and that liberal group, they were all like, well, yeah, if this got changed or that got changed, we'd be okay with this bill. And that is the goal. And I think even of the sponsor. He's not here to blow things up. He wants transparency so our parents know what's happening in a classroom. Are we saying that every time that a teacher hiccups, they got to put it on this thing? That's not the intent. So this is an interesting, I think, like I said, a teachable moment, a learning opportunity. This bill might not go anywhere, or it might go all the way through and get signed by the governor. Why? Because it got worked. And the discussions were had. And this group said, no, not about that. And like I said, the conservative and the liberal groups agreed on some things that were not good. So I'm willing to listen and talk. That's the process. What's happening in this world today is we don't listen much anymore, and we don't discuss. So that's happening here. So bear with us. Will House Bill 5722 see the light of day? I can't tell you right now, but I will tell you that I believe the sponsor is working in good faith with everybody. I know I am, trying to get it right, because ultimately this bill's intent is good. Transparency for parents to know what's happening in their schools. I don't think anybody should have a problem with that. Should we clean up some things? Are some of these things a little too harsh? I would agree after talking with some of the stakeholders on this. So we move forward, all right? I think that's the logical way to go. Anyway, that's it. I'm at 13 minutes. Again, I try to keep them at 10, but I'm usually over. All right, it's Wednesday. There is another winter storm getting ready to hit southern Michigan on Thursday. It's supposed to be sleet and snow and pretty nasty, so I don't know what's going to happen, if they're going to cancel session tomorrow or not. So I may be back in district tonight, or it might be later after everything melts. So we'll see. I'll play it all by ear and take it as it comes. But until next week, keep me in your prayers. I'll keep praying for you in the state. And again, if you have an issue that you need to bring to to my office, please. RepO'Malley.com has all our contact information. I understand people can be passionate. I just ask that you be polite in your passion. All right. Have a good day. Thank you.